Let's be clear. But I'm still soliciting your prayers. What's going on with me? And I'm having it taken care of. So I was like, hey, bro, I really appreciate that, because we don't need to just find out and the doctor's asking you questions and you don't have all of the answers, not because you don't live in town, but because it's not been communicated. To pray for our family. Last Sunday, I was just not emotionally in a position where I could have communicated anything. But I wanted to share this story with you this morning, and I just think it's something that's extremely positive. The word says, let's go over to the other side of the lake. So when they got in the boat, everything was fine. I want you to follow me on this. Everything was fine when they got into the boat and they set sail. But when they set sail, Jesus had fallen asleep. Everything happens for a reason. So then a storm came. Sometimes we can speak negative into our lives even before we've even had the full experience of what could be taking place. My Aunt Patricia has really been a jewel, and I know she doesn't like shout outs, but she's like my big sister and my aunt. And, the strongest woman I know, besides my mother. And it's so funny because she not only is she a strong, smart woman, but she's a nurse, and you just can't run jibber jabbers to her in a medical community and expect for her to buy into it. It's just not going to happen. So, and even when the doctors weren't finishing certain statements, she was completing them and for them. So it pays to be nice to people too, especially when they have to take care of your loved ones. So nobody was rude. Everybody was, just here. It says, Master, Master, we're going to drown. So automatically we can set ourselves in a state of panic and we can just write the situation off because we're not spiritually mature enough to even understand what God is doing. So once one thing took place with my mom, they got her stable, and then another thing came about. So everybody was pretty much filled with joy, but then all of a sudden, boom, we're hit with this on Friday morning on a rainy day. And I was just taken aback. And my aunt said, it's still in God's hands. My cousins, it's still in God's hands. My nieces, it's still in God's hands. So we know that because God could have taken her out last Saturday. Well, maybe God is doing something through this whole experience. Maybe God is positioning the nurses and the staff at this hospital to step up their game and really be focused on their profession, because you've gone to school for so many years, and this is not the time to sit by and watch somebody just pass when you could at least put forth an effort. I thank God that my family's present at the hospital, and they know what should be done, or they have an idea of what should be done. Well, as it relates to me, I never had the feeling of she's going to pass, but my thing is whatever God's will is, I have to be prepared for it. And I looked at the brighter side of it. Well, at least she won't have to deal with certain things she's been dealing with, that's causing her a great deal of stress. I also looked at the fact that she's going to be with her mom and her grandparents, nieces and nephews. I can get past this, but your mother, that's a different kind of pain. Well, I had a brief encounter with that feeling on last Saturday morning. I couldn't talk. I had to communicate with my aunt, and I did the best that I could. Even when I went back in my dad's house to tell my stepmother and my son what had taken place, I could not form the words because I was overwhelmed by emotions. Well, in this case, my son got up, and this is so perfect. He says, Dad, God's got Granny. We're going to be okay. And it was just like the Lord had gotten up and he rebuked the wind and the raging waves, and the storm just basically subsided. He said, well, I will drive from here. Fortunately, I was here in at least 2 states away that I knew that I could get back to my mother. I was in Georgia and she's here in Memphis. So I knew that transportation wasn't a problem because we had enough vehicles on the road to get us back to where we needed to be. But it shall be done. Whatever God's will is for our lives, it shall be done. So it's so important for us to hold on to our faith, because faith is the substance of things hoped for and evidence of things not seen. So guess what? I don't know what's going to happen. I can't see what's going to happen, but I do know someone who's omnipresent. He's positioning the physicians to dig a little deeper in research to come up with, hey, this is taking place. Maybe he's telling our family, he's asking our family the question, where is your faith? See, God doesn't do anything just for recreation. He does everything for preparation and preparing us for the next phase of our lives. So I say I do have faith, because faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. But we first must believe that he is. Yeah, if something were to happen, of course I would miss my mother. I would miss her, still believing that I'm in elementary school. I would still miss her complaining about things. I would still miss her talking about church. All of these things are just a part of the natural course of life, but it doesn't mean that it won't hurt. And there's going to be pain. I understand that. You to rest. And man, she's done so much, and you can't tell somebody. You don't know why people are doing what they're doing. She went to a couple of funerals a couple of weeks ago. One of my aunts passed away. She was there. So you cannot sit this woman down. But God said, I got something for you. But it's so funny. My son has such a great sense of humor. He said, Dad, see, we down here in Georgia, and Granny's like, nah, y'all need to come back here and see about me. So it was just, it was just, my son and my daughter are the best children that I could have ever asked for in life. I don't, my kids never believed in Santa Claus. They used to see him, but I was Santa, so I wasn't trying to mislead the children. But I said all that to say this, that no matter what happens, it's the will of God. And that's why we all live. It's God's will. That doesn't mean that we should stop praying, but God knows what he is doing. And see, we can live in fear, but I like the part of amazement. The disciples asked one another, who is this who he commands? Even the wind and the waves, they obey him. Well, I know there's only one true and living God, Jesus Christ. One true and living God. The Trinity. Nerves were bad. My stomach was upset. You just never know until you find yourself in this position who you are, who you truly are. My friend in Texas, Tiffany, was like, hey, hang in there. It's still up to God. So I just appreciate the love that I've received from so many people, who've tried to encourage me. My friend Tinkster, same thing. Look, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And her theory was, Johnny May ain't going nowhere. She still got some more people to boss. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. But I have to position myself. I'm in my granddaughter's bedroom. She has this thing for tigers because she's a beast like that. But man, life is just too good to we're gonna miss people when they leave. We're definitely gonna miss them. But let's think about the good times that we've shared. My friend Kirsten, same thing with her. Ray, if there's anything I can do, let me know. And she's not a nosy person, so she wasn't trying to figure out what's going on with your mom. She just said, are you okay? So a lot of my friends, Wayne Knox, Terry, just a whole lot of friends from the neighborhood would hit me up. Michael Neal. I could just go on and on with names. My god sister, Monique, reached out to her. And, our family, man, we love to laugh. So it was very, very easy for us to make each other laugh about mom or whatever. So, I just appreciate everybody who has just been supportive to our family. And it's just amazing. I thank the people at my job for allowing me to have this time to be with my family. Dr. McClendon and Chaplain Helms, man, do what you got to do for your family, and the rest of this is going to work out the way it's supposed to. So that's the word that I wanted to give you, but I do want you to know that I love you, I appreciate you, and everybody who was just said, if there's anything I can do, let me know. I haven't eaten this morning, so I hadn't eaten most mornings actually, because I want to say, but the Bible says be anxious for nothing, so I'm gonna cover myself with that. But it's not easy to sleep, because for years when I was a kid, you anticipate these phone calls in the middle of the night, so but my aunt encouraged me, and also the staff at the hospital, hey, do something for you. We're doing everything we can here, but you cannot be up here every day, wearing yourself down, and so you got to be able to care for somebody. So, I just thank everybody for their encouraging words. I thank my friends for the laughter, my BFF. You are hilarious, Tinkster. You are hilarious. I appreciate you. Because there were times when I didn't know what I couldn't say. But my friends have been so supportive. My cousin Key Adrian, who's also a stellar and a scholar. Ma'am, thank you so much. If you received a Giveify link, please click on it. Whatever you. And I love you. I thank God for you. And I will see